everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we are doing DIY home decor, and I wanted to share with you some new ideas for DIY boho room decor. So I'm really excited to share these with you, and I hope you love them. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first up is the Boho Terrarium. So using this glass candle holder that I got from the Dollar Tree, I'm going to be trying my best to use painter's tape to create a straight line across, making sure that I am not covering the bottom of this glass container. So that exposed area will be sprayed with spray paint, but everywhere else I want to make sure that I cover completely to make sure that there's no bleed through anywhere else. So once that's done, we're moving on to spray paint. So I'm using my black flat spray paint once again, and I'm making sure that I'm spraying everywhere, giving it a nice coat. And I flipped it upside down and spray painted the bottom as well, and this was to make sure that we just kept with that cohesive look. After spraying my one coat, I let that dry, and then I went on to taking the tape off. And as I was taking the tape off, I noticed that it kind of resembled almost like a dipped glass, and I really liked that look. It wasn't my intention, but I thought it was really cool nonetheless. Next, I'm going to be taking my gold paint pen that I also got from Dollar Tree, and then I'm going to be drawing a line where that black spray paint ends. This was done because of the design, but I also like the fact that it was a softer transition between the black spray paint and the glass. Next, I'm going to be taking that paint pen again and drawing upside down triangles, connecting it to the line that I just drew. Trust me when I say this does not have to be perfect. I personally feel that handmade things just kind of give something a little bit more character, not to mention the fact that patterns such as these are so forgiving. Next, I'm using the paint pen to draw dots in between the triangles. And then I'm also creating a line underneath that just to continue and complete the design. One tip for you for here is to make sure that you connect one tip of the triangle at a time instead of trying to do a continuous line around. And once you're done with that, it's time to add the plants. Now, if you can keep real plants alive, you're lucky. However, I'm going to be using this fake plant that I got at Dollar Tree and putting it in. So I'm just basically going to glue the bottom and then stick it to the base of the container. And that basically completes the DIY. Next, we're going to be creating a necklace holder from this little art piece. So I'm going to start by actually taking this lettering off, and just be careful as you're pulling it up. I didn't realize that it was actually metal, so I kind of like nicked my finger, so that was fun. And originally I was actually going to just spray paint this, but I realized that it actually created an indent, so what I had to do is use this wallpaper, and I got this actually from the dollar spot from Target. And I'm going to be using the grid on the back to trace the shape. But instead of cutting those lines, what I'm actually going to do is cut a square instead and actually cut much more than I actually need. This just makes it much easier when you're actually applying the wallpaper, and then you can go ahead and cut the excess off after you've placed it down. So to place the wallpaper, what I started off is by peeling the corner of the backing of the wallpaper and then slowly sliding it down and pressing down the wallpaper again. Now when you're trying to apply contact material like this, you want to try to place it at an angle and slide it down that way. Also, it's great to use a card or something to smooth out the edges, especially where you have some bumps and grooves. I didn't have anything like that to use, so what I had to do was lift up the paper and reapply it in those areas. Once it was smooth to my liking, I just went ahead and cut off the excess paper. I left a ½ an inch so I could kind of flip it over though and cover those edges. And whenever you get to the points of the triangle, what you want to do is just create a slit there so that it's easy to fold the paper over. Now using these hooks that I got from Home Depot, I'm going to be taking them and screwing them into the bottom of this. Now these hooks in particular, you don't have to worry about pre-drilling because of the fact that they actually have a pointy tip. Not to mention that this material isn't actually wood, it's more of a hardboard material, so it's much easier to work with. So moving on, to help me create and trace this half circle, I'm using this ribbon wheel to help me do that. I'm also going to be drawing sun rays, so in order to do this, I'm going to be using a ruler to kind of create straight lines for me. I would also draw a line and then switch to the other side just to try to make this picture as even as possible. Next, I'm taking my black paint pen and then I'm tracing over the lines that I drew previously. So something that I didn't do that I actually wish I did, I wish I took that ruler and then used it as a guide. It just would have made this process a little bit smoother and easier for me had I did that, but I'm still really happy with the outcome, and it's a cute budget-friendly piece for your room. Last but not least, we're going to be taking these wooden bowls that I found at the thrift store and creating a wooden vase out of it. So using 120 sand grit, I'm sanding down the finish that is on top of the bowls to try to get to that natural wood color. Next, using these creepy wooden snakes that I found at Dollar Tree, I'm going to be taking the head and the tail off in order to use this for my design. So as you can see here, what I'm doing is gluing the edge of the bowl, and I'm going to be placing the wooden snake body on top of that. Now, how many snakes you're going to use for this project is definitely going to vary based on the size of your bowls, but I will say that I needed 3 in order to complete this project. 2 were just not big enough to go all the way around. I then took my hot glue gun again and then put some more hot glue on top of that, and then placed the second wooden snake body on top of that to complete the design. And as I was placing it down, I just took my time and tried my best to match it up accordingly with the one below it. Now, in order to use this as a vase for faux flowers, what I needed to do was drill a hole. So as you can see here, I'm just using a 1-inch spade bit in order to create that opening for me. And last but not least, I took that top bowl and glued it down and placed it on top to complete this project. Guys, that is it for the DIYs today, but thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more home decor DIYs like this, definitely make sure you give it a thumbs up. So if you're new here, thank you for making it to the end. Also, I want to say hi, my name is Rachel, and if I could sum up in 5 seconds or less what I do, I'm a DIY enthusiast who loves home decor and making DIY content, and I try to make the projects easy so that everyone can do it no matter what your skill level is. So if that's something that you're interested in and I pass that vibe check for you, definitely make sure you're subscribed and you hit that little notification bell so you're in the know when I post again. But again, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!